Hello everyone, this is David of RVs of America. We are here with another upgrade video for the MDCs. For those of you that don't know, MDC has been building trailers in Australia for over 15 years, but now they're moving to the US and they've been here for a couple years. But one thing they haven't really taken into consideration is in Australia, their four seasons are much different than the average four seasons in the US. Essentially what that means is especially if you live in the kind of northern half of the country, you're going to experience much more intense winters. And obviously that becomes a freeze concern on your trailer, on your camper, wherever you're going. So whether you're storing it or you're trying to camp in cold temperatures, you essentially need to winterize any trailer that isn't a US four-season trailer. So today we're going to be talking about installing easy winterizing valves. And essentially what that's going to allow you to do is take an RV antifreeze gallon, siphon it through the pump here, instead of trying to pour a bunch of gallons in your water tank, in your fresh water tank, and then sucking it through the line. So it's going to save you on RV antifreeze. You'll have to buy less to do it, but it'll make it easier for just siphoning it through the lines and getting everything winter ready. The other thing we're going to do too is there's the water heater. We're going to add bypass valves so that way you don't have to run the RV antifreeze through it. There's nothing technically wrong with running it through the water heater. However, if you accidentally leave it on, that can damage the water heater as you're running the RV antifreeze through it. But also it's really hard to de-winterize it after the fact, just because the tank that's in there, it doesn't really get all the antifreeze out. So yeah, that's essentially what we're going to be installing. So if you come closer, the first thing is we'll be adding a T-valve that will essentially, when you're just normal operations, it'll be in line with the pump. Everything's fine, but when you're ready to winterize it, you would turn it 90 degrees to the line that I had mentioned before, that you would run straight into your RV antifreeze gallon, and it would suck it straight through the pump through the rest of your lines. So that's the first thing we'll do. Okay, so here's the second part. Here's your water heater. A bunch of different lines coming from the compartment that we were just in is right here to the left. So this is your line coming in, your cold line going in, and then your hot line coming out right here. So right now we're on an MDC 17 family, and this current model that we have does have the bypass valves already installed. However, some of the other MDCs, which this mod is applicable for, don't have the bypass. And so for those mods, or for those trailers, we'd be installing the bypass as well. Once we kind of install the easy winterizing valves, we'll also come back here and kind of show you what you need to do as far as winterizing your trailer, what valves you need to turn to where. Whether it's just the siphoning valve and the bypass valves, this can be done in any MDC. We've done it on the 15 so far. We are doing it on the 17 for this mod, and then we'll continue to do them on some of the other models. So if this is something you're interested in, let us know. We're gonna kind of get into some of the install, give you some footage of that, and then we'll meet back up to show you the finished product. Okay, so here we are on an MDC 15. As you can see, the compartment's a little bit different. It's all kind of in one spot here. What we did on this one is we did have to do the bypass valves along with the siphoning valve. So first off, here we have the siphoning valve. Here's the line that you can use, put straight into your RV antifreeze. If you look down here, here's the fitting that we put on. You just turn it to there, and then that essentially runs the RV antifreeze straight through here, through your pump, and through the rest of your lines. For the bypass valves, what you would also have to do is, right now we're in current function for just running normal water through your hot water heater, getting hot and cold water through your faucets. But when you go to winterize, in order to use the bypass, you essentially just need to turn all three of these valves the opposite of what they are now. So inline, like this, means you're now sending the water through. And then when you turn a 90-degree angle like this, that means it's being shut off. So you want to do that here and down here. So essentially what that's doing, say the antifreeze is now stopping when it gets to here. It then runs through this line, which, as you can see, this is the hot water out. So it essentially bypasses that completely and goes through the rest of your lines to your outside kitchen, outside sink, or sorry, outside shower, inside shower, the sink, etc. So when you are winterizing, essentially what you want to do is once you have all these valves turned to their current place, you pretty much just run the RV antifreeze through each line, opening the cold until the water goes from clear to pink, showing the RV antifreeze has made it all the way through the line. But then you also have to do that for the hot water valve as well. So it's important to make sure you do both until they turn pink. So that's pretty much it for this install. We have the bypass and the siphoning valve. To turn it back to normal, you're just going to turn this back another 9 degrees to where it's in line, and then do the opposite for all 3 of these valves.
Maybe just mention,
depending where you live, you're probably going to experience freezing temperatures at least once a year, and this saves up to an hour or more on just the winterizing and de-winterizing process. To winterize, like I had mentioned before, you would have to get more gallons of RV antifreeze, find some kind of funnel to run it directly to your tanks, and then use the pump to run it through everything. And for this unit, which didn't already have the bypass valves, you would be running the antifreeze through the hot water heater. So like I said, it doesn't harm it as long as you have it off, but over time, it's not always the easiest to de-winterize it as well, getting all that antifreeze out. So ultimately, this saves you a lot of time, saves you a lot of hassle, helps protect your hot water heater, and you're ultimately spending less on RV antifreeze each year, because on a unit like this size, you may only need 3 or 4 gallons tops. Some of the larger MDC units, maybe 5 or 6, but it really depends on your usage. If you had to fill your tanks, you'd be using over 10, because essentially where the draw line is from the tanks themselves, you have to at least meet that level, but then also have enough to run it through all your lines. So yeah, saves a lot of time, could definitely save you a lot of money on RV antifreeze, and it could save you a lot of money on possible replacement water heater in the future. So yeah, if you put a deposit down on an MDC and we're getting you all set up, I'm one of the service advisors here in Utah. You'll talk to me or one of the other service advisors, and let me know if this is something you're interested in, to help you just feel confident in your trailer and get out there and be Roamer ready.